Hello guys and welcome to my YouTube channel UA Studios. This is Sadathar and I'm gonna teach you React Navigation version 6. Basically we will learn how to integrate React Navigation into our React Native project, and then we will learn how to navigate from one screen to another, and then how to pass the parameters while you are passing or navigating to next screen. Also we will learn how to write a better navigation code. So to begin with let's start. So this is React Navigation official documents, and from here uh, we will learn how to install the React Navigation. So go to the reactnavigation.org docs slash getting started with version 6, which is the latest version. So to install the React Navigation, you have to install, I will be following yarn. So let's add the yarn add here, and into our project, I have created a new project with the name of React Navigation. So in the terminal, copy the command. So then afterwards, we have to install the dependencies for the React Navigation here. So if you are developing a project in Expo Managed project, then install these. If it is a pure React Native project, then add these dependencies. Paste. Then afterwards we will have okay. Then one more thing, because we will be using React stack navigation, so we have to add this one as well. Basically the stack navigator is basically the library which will help to navigate from the screens, like from one screen to another, and it will basically stack the navigation histories. So we will use it. Okay, so now we have to do is like install the pods. Since it's stalling, we have to wait for a few minutes, and afterwards you have to install the pod. So pod install. So one more dependencies for the Android is like we have to add this line, source this code into our main activity class. So go to the Android here, go to the app, then source, then main, Java, then main activity, and here just write this code, this bunch of code here. Save this file. Okay, so we have installed the dependency for the iOS. Then let's run this project, which is like yarn iOS. So that we can check if all the dependencies have been installed successfully. Just wait for a few minutes. So the project here has been run successfully in iOS. Now let's try it on the Android as well. So here you can see it's running successfully, so means that we have installed the dependencies successfully. Now let's run the Android version as well. So let's write yarn Android, so it will run on the Android as well. Just wait for a few minutes while it's running the project in Android as well. while it's running in Android. So let's create the source folder here, src. And here let's create another folder with the name of screens, and here inside the screen folder create a file, let's say called home.js. Then create another class or component with the name of let's say details.js. So we have created two screen here. The first one is the home and the second one is the detail screen. And it will just add the boiler code. So the Android version got failed. Okay, so I think, okay, so we had to add, I forgot to add, if you look into the documentation of the React navigation, you will see we have to add this line as well. So go to the Android app, source main Java main activity, and here add import os.bundle. So save this file, and if I run the project again, hopefully it should run. So while it's running, I was adding here text of home screen. Okay, so I think it's get installed in Android as well. Yes, so we have installed the dependencies successfully. So yeah, okay, so now what we will gonna create is a, no, let's first of all let's start with the basic, I guess. Just give me a minute. Okay, so go to your app.js file and remove all the code here from here. Okay, so let's type import static as react from react, and import navigation container from react navigation native. Okay, and then export default, let's say a function of app. Okay, then return here navigation container, and then this. So basically what we are doing here is we are containing navigation container, and which will contain all our navigation logic or the navigation stack. So then what we have to do is like create screens. So now what we will going to do, then we have to import native stack. So since we are using React Navigation version 6, so it has introduced React Native Stack Navigator. Okay. Okay. There is now there is another better approach to do this. So what we will do, mm, okay, let's remove this line. Okay, and then create constant stack equals to create native stack navigator. Okay, so we have initialized the stack, which is from create native stack navigator. So basically this will contain all the stack navigation screens. So here inside this what we'll do is here, like, okay, so now let's import the screens we have just initialized. Import which is home from the source screens, then we have this home. Okay, now what we will do is stack dot navigator, and inside of this we will hold all the screens. Stack dot screen, name is like, let's give a name of home, then component is home. Since it's a home screen, so let's rename it into home screen. Okay, then export default app. Now let's run this class. Okay, we have to save every file here. I just forget. So you can see here we have just initialized our React navigation with the stack navigator, and which contains the screen called home, and it is shown here. Now let's add another screen, which is our details screen from source screen dash home. Sorry, its name is details screen from source dash screens dash details. Let's copy this line and paste it here. Just name it details here, details screen, details screen. Save this file here as well. Now go to the home screen and add button here, and then inside of this button on press to, we are creating a arrow function, and here we will have a navigation, then navigation dot navigate to just initialize the name of details here. We have to give a title as well. Just give a name, click tap me. Save this file here. You can see we have one screen which is home, and we have a button here which states that help tap me. If I tap it here, you will see we have navigated to detail screens. So now in next we will learn how we can pass the parameters from one screen to another. So now we will learn how we can pass parameters from one screen to another. Let's say you have to pass the complete object or anything to next screen. So here, while you are pointing out the name of the screen, so here with the comma I mean, like, next param is like we can pass the complete object. So here with braces you will pass, let's say, item ID or anything, or maybe product ID, let's say, whatever the object is. And let's say maybe you have another params, so you will add here whatever it is. Let's say it's a string, maybe the screen name, it can be, or anything. So let's say details params. Okay, so here we have passed the complete object. Now into the next screen, which is details. Here we will receiving b2 props, which is route and a navigation. Okay, so here we will be destructuring it, like, say, constant. The first one was the product ID. Let's check the name. It is product ID. Then the other one was other param, then is equals to route dot params. Okay, then how now if you want to, like, print it, basically you will be doing it detail screen params. Let's concatenate it in string. So here, then pass the complete object, which is product ID. Then other params. So basically what I'm doing is I have just concatenate a string here. This is how you can merge or add multiple strings params into a single string. Basically we are concatenating it, so adding the dynamic object into a string. Okay, now if I click on tab me, you will see product ID is 89 and other params are details params. So we have passed parameters from one screen to another. Okay. Okay, so now we will learn how to write the navigation logic in a better way. So to do this, we will creating another folder here with the name of navigation, and then inside of it I will be creating a component with the name of main stack navigator. Not JS. Here we will be writing the main logic inside this main stack navigator. Then we'll import the main stack navigator here, and we'll be replacing all of this code into main stack navigator. Okay, so let's import the React from the React. then import the navigation container from React Navigation Native, and then basically what we will do, we will create a function with the name of main stack navigator and basically we will do let's say return, we will pass the navigation container object here. This navigation container will consist of all of this navigation logic. So here navigation container. Okay, now we have this navigation main stack navigator. What you'll see says like we have this main stack navigator, our component which will contain all the navigation logic, and it's returning a navigation container which will consist of all the screen stacks. So basically what we have to do is we have to now import all these. Okay, so here we will create, I will be moving this logic into another, this stack navigator logic into another class functional component. So let's say it app stack.js. Okay, export default, then here let's say here basically it will be having all of the logic just that we have just added here. So we have to import create stack navigator here, then we have to import all these two screens here. Okay, just change the path, this is home, and then details. Okay, so after that what we will do, we will just create a stack object from create native stack that we have just created here, then simply just paste, just cut the object here and then paste it inside of this, and then app stack. So we have this stack navigator, and then we have all the screens inside this app stack. So then what we will gonna do is we will be passing this app stack object inside our main stack navigator component. So basically here we have to import the app stack here. So import app stack from app stack, then inside this we will just pass the app stack navigator. Then what we are going to do, we will export this complete functional component, export default from main stack navigator. Okay, then in the app.js file just remove all of these logics and remove this as well, and then import main stack navigator, then return just a main stack navigator. Okay. Where we have, okay, you can see it's working fine here as well. So let me explain what we have done so far. We have separated the navigation logic from app.js into main stack navigator. Then we have separated app stack logic from to another class, because why I have separated this app stack logic, because let's say we have a component. I mean, like, let's think about an app which have multiple tabs, which have like multiple, which maybe have a sidebar, which maybe have a tab bar. So basically, this app stack will consist all the main stack navigation logics. Then we can create here inside this navigation folder multiple bottom tab bar, maybe, or maybe side menu, and then maybe top bar. So all of these stacks will be added here separately. Then based on the navigational logic, we will place or import into our class separate, into our function separately, so that every component could be easily separated, and it will not make a spaghetti code. So that's why we have separated all of these logics. Hope you like this, my logics here. You can add feedback on the comments as well. Yes, so now I will be showing you how you can integrate bottom tab bar by using React navigation. So in with the help of bottom tab bar, the concept that I have separated the logic of these stacks into another component, so it will more clear to you now why I have it doing that. So to achieve the bottom tab bar, I have added a folder called constants, and here I have added image constants, and then I have created a folder assets, and inside assets folder I have added images folder as well. And here we have three images. The one is home, user, and logout. So basically these two images will be shown in the bottom tab bar. Okay, so now let's create another file inside this navigation with the name of bottom tab bar stack. Bottom tab bar stack.js. Then simple. That's the boilerplate code. And what I'm going to do here is like I have to install this library which is for the bottom tab bar. So just add here yarn add, then cd ios pod install. Okay, so just run. The configuration is working fine, and then inside of it import, here we have to import create bottom tab bar. Then basically we will be importing all the screens. So here we have home screen, then profile, and logout. So inside the screens create, we already have home screen, so don't need to create another one. So we will create profile.js, and then let's create logout.js as well. And then what we will do here for the logout, add the boilerplate code. screen, then here file screen. Just save all these files here and then go to the bottom tab bar stack. So we have this, and then in it, then create a constant, just tab equals to create bottom tab navigator. Okay, then basically we will be adding 3 items, right? So just create an array of items, which is tabs, initialize it, then make it object, let's say id is to 0, then active icon, sorry, we have image constant here dot, this will be the home, so home, then let's give in active icon image constant dot home. I'm just adding the home icon here. You can add different icon for the when the tab is not active, which can be like gray in color, anything. And let's give a name. This is home, then component. So we need to create add screens as well here. The home screen from home, and import logout, then import file. Okay, so component home screen. Okay, so this is the first screen, then add another, which id would be 1, this would be user, same as well, name would be profile, and the screen component would be the component. Add another, this is 2 equals to logout, out, logout, and then logout. Okay, so we have created an array of tabs with some basic configurations. Okay, so now what we will do, we will simply create a tab dot navigator here. Tab dot navigator. Okay, then the tab navigator with some basic configuration here. Let's give it a name, which is, let's say, tab flow. Then if we want to hide the header, then basically add header shown is equals to false. Okay, then inside this tab dot navigator we will basically initialize the screen. So tabs dot map basically it will loop out all the items of the tabs array, and then item and index inside this arrow function we will initialize tab screen, tab dot screen, and then this tab screen with some basic configuration, key would be the index. So every screen would be unique. That's why we are assigning key as index. Then passing initial params is equals to div icon into item dot div icon, then inactive icon into item dot inactive icon. Okay, the name of the screen, let's say name is equals to item dot name, then component is equals to item dot component. Okay, so we have just created a bottom tab bar. This would be the simplest bottom tab bar we have created so far. So yes, and then basically what we will do, we will import this bottom tab bar to our main stack navigator. Or maybe let me explain another thing, another logic to you guys. Okay, then basically I will be importing this bottom tab bar to our app stack. Why? Because usually the main screen is always the tab bar always comes to the main screen, like it becomes the, whenever you open the app after authentication, let's use a sign up or sign in, the main screen would be the tab bar. So I will be adding the bottom tab bar here to this in the place of this home. So just import here bottom tab stack, and then here bottom tab bar. Let me copy the name of it, which is tab flow. So here just add a tab flow here. If I save this, so let's check what happens. Couldn't find screen navigator, have you defined children? Okay. What tab bar? Okay, so let me check it again. So let me debug it and I will get back to you. Okay, now the issue was actually with when we created the arrow function, we passed the curly braces, we have to pass the square bracket. Okay, then we have to remove this one line. You can see we got the bottom tab bar here, and if you want to show, we also hide the header here, because we don't want a navigation bar for every bottom tab bar. So actually we have shown the navigation bar from the app stack here. Okay, so if I convert it to true, then you will see we will have the navigation bar for every tab. So that's why I have marked it false. Okay, so you can see we have this bottom tab bar here, but it is not showing the icon just that we have just imported in our assets folder. So because I wanted to describe you how we can customize the bottom tab bar. So here in the documentation of the React navigation, we have this a file which shows us how we can customize the bottom tab bar. So just copy that and create a new file here with the name of bottom tab bar.js, and paste the complete file here, and then first import React from from React, then add export default function. Export default, why I have added this export default, because I want to use it into other classes, and it is mandatory to add a React whenever you are creating a functional component. So here we have a component which is to customize the bottom tab bar. Okay, and then if you see their documentation, they have added this line as well. So first of all, just rename it into the name of a functional component, which is bottom tab bar. Okay, then go to the bottom tab bar stack and import it here. Tab bar. Then if you copy this line and paste it here, and just close this tab here, you will see we have you can see we have this text, right? So now we have to customize this bottom tab bar. Here you can see here we have just text, so just add another view here, and put the view inside of this line text, then give a style, give that height of, let's say, 40. You will see we have the bottom tab bar height to 40, and then add justify content to center. Okay, then align items to be center, set so that every item of the bottom tab bar would be in center from horizontally and vertically. But the thing is, we have to add image as well. So what we will do, we will add the image component here, and then add a source here. Then we will be having let's find out where we can get the object name. Okay, we have to give a style as well, so just give a height and width to the image, give it 40, and comma, 40 as well. And then we have to find out a way in which we can get, the item that we have passed to an bottom tab bar. So here we can get it like this. Now we have this active icon, so here just pass the active icon. Okay, so we haven't initialized the image. You can see here we have now the home, profile, and logout. So now we have to set the image according to the, let's say I gave it 20 pixels. So you can see it's looking much better now. We have this profile, we have this logout, and we have this home. And now if I background color, let's give it a red. Okay, so actually the 40 height is a bit low, so just make it 60. It will look better, or if I make it 80. So basically you have to set it the bottom tab bar's height accordingly. Okay, as this is how you can customize the item of the bottom tab bar. Basically, through the routes we have all the bottom tab bar items that we have passed, and then you can see we can customize the click listeners of these items as well. We can fetch the object of the item of this item into the bottom tab bar functional component like this. So that's how you can customize the bottom tab bar.